Let's also go across to my colleague Himadri, who's standing by with Shaktikanta Das, the Secretary of Economic Affairs. Himadri.
For talking to us. So if you first, let me ask you your first view on the RBI policy that has been announced today. RBI maintains status quo. What is your assessment?
See, the RBI policy announcement today is on expected lines, and they have maintained a very careful and considered balance between their primary goal of maintaining inflation and also of giving a boost to growth. So it's a balance between growth and inflation. And I think the statement also says that there is need to be vigilant, and at the same time the policy will be accommodative. So I think a very considered balance has been maintained.
Next, you met a lot of bankers today and discussed the gold monetization scheme. What were the discussions, and what could be thought of next?
See, today morning I participated in the annual summit of the Indian Bullion and Jewelers Association. There I had some interaction with the jewelers and the leading members of that particular trade. And just now I concluded a meeting of all banks including public sector and private sector banks, and specifically we discussed the two gold schemes, that is the gold bond scheme and the gold monetization scheme. The gold bond scheme, as you know, the first tranche has been a success. We got 63,000 applications, which is a very good response for a new and innovative scheme in its first tranche. We also discussed about gold monetization scheme, which I would like to mention that it's too early to pass a verdict on the success or otherwise of the gold monetization scheme, because it's an open-ended scheme. It's a difficult scheme, it's a challenging scheme, but we are quite confident and we are committed to make a success out of it. So today's meeting with the banks was basically to understand what kind of difficulties and what kind of new challenges and problems, and what are the lessons learned out of the implementation of the gold monetization scheme over the last 20-25 days and the first tranche of the gold bond schemes. And we have got number of good suggestions. We have taken note of them, and the government will do suitable changes as may be required in the implementation of all these schemes in the coming weeks.
By when can we expect this scheme to be out?
No, this is a continuous process. Gold monetization scheme, as you know, it's a continuous process. And gold monetization scheme, one decision which was taken about a week ago, which we have now done, is that earlier there was there were three parties to the contract. There were the testing centers, then there were the refiners, and then there were the banks. Three agencies were involved. Then the availability of testing centers, the initial testing centers, what you call the assaying and the gold testing centers, their very limited number were available. So two things we have done. Number one, there are 13,000 jewelers who are certified by the BIS. Now BIS has now called for expression of interest from all these 13,000 jewelers, whether they would like to become participate in the scheme and facilitate its implementation, and whether they would act as testing centers.
All right, Shaktikanta Das out there in conversation with my colleague Himadri. But just let's take a quick break right now. When we come back, we put a spotlight on the automakers that drive in a robust November. Most players see a significant sales uptake. More on that after the break.